Judy Zelina. This is the Millcreek Government Channel. The Better Business Bureau is an unbiased nonprofit business organization that sets and upholds high standards for fair and honest business behavior. They offer a variety of free services for consumers. We are very fortunate to have an office in Erie to better serve both business and consumers in Northwest Pennsylvania. The Better Business Bureau helps people find and recommend businesses, brands, and charities that they can trust. For over 100 years, they've helped people make smarter decisions and are evolving to meet fast-changing marketplace needs. Joining us today is Pamela Marlowe. She's the Public Relations Coordinator for the Erie Better Business Office. Thank you so much for joining us again.
Thank you for having me, Judy. It's a pleasure to be here.
You always have great information that we keep reminding our viewers how to be careful of. Today, I think our biggest focus today is we're going to talk about popular summer scams and how we can prevent becoming a victim.
Okay, yes, there's so many to discuss, so we better get to it. but yeah, we try to do an education about different types of scams that are happening. We want people to make wise buying decisions and wise giving decisions, so we can help connect people with trusted charities and local and national businesses. But part of that too is we see a lot of scams mixed in the different communities and nationwide as well. So part of our mission is to educate people about what's out there and hope that they'll learn what to identify and ultimately prevent themselves falling from scams and types of fraud.
Well, we've got the warmer weather coming. So let's start with, what do you see some of the popular scams that are going to have probably already started popping up?
Sure, yes, and scammers are opportunists. So we saw scams all throughout the winter in Erie. They're targeted phone and email scams. So we've been educating about phone and email scams and online and all kinds of other scams happening throughout the winter. But now that the weather is getting warmer, scammers are going to take a new approach, and that may be in-person scams. So we see a lot of door-to-door activity around Erie this time of year and throughout the summer until it starts to get cold again. But we don't want to talk about that. We want to enjoy our spring and summer while we can. But there are certain scams that we should watch out for.
Okay.
And including those door-to-door. Now, there are legitimate companies that do sell door-to-door.
Right. What would be a red flag on if someone's doing door-to-door sales? What is a red flag?
Sure. There are a number of red flags, including offers that are only good at that moment, right at your front door when they offer you something. You always want to take your time, review a contract, review a company, review a product or service before committing to a purchase or signing a contract. So any type of pressure, high pressure to make the deal that day at your door, you want to take your time to research first. So high pressure sales, any type of payment that's cash upfront, paying a product or service in cash upfront could be a red flag, because that person could take your money, run, and never provide the product or service, or never return to do work on your home. So we have the high pressure, paying cash upfront. You also don't want to pay a check to an individual. So if you're going to pay a company for a product or service, you want to make the check out to a company.
All right.
So if someone comes to your home and says, I see you need your driveway sealed or patched, and they offer you a good deal to patch or seal your driveway, tar and chip your driveway, and they ask you to make a check out to that person's name instead of a company name, that's a red flag. We see a lot of the tar and chip and paving scams this time of year. So someone will come to your house and say, oh, I was at your neighbor's house, or I was at Chautauqua Institute doing some work, and we have some extra material, so we're in the neighborhood here and we want to offer you a good deal because we were in the neighborhood and we have extra materials. But that's usually a huge red flag of a paving scam.
Okay.
So we have the payment, high pressure sales, and failure to give you any type of contact information as well. You should always know who exactly you're working with, and to help verify, you should have a company name, a physical address, phone number, maybe an email as well, but you'll want to make sure that address and contact information is legitimate. We do see in, especially online scams, which we can get to, we see people make up fake Erie addresses. So they'll make up what looks like a physical address, but it's a made-up address for Erie.
Okay.
And so you want to make sure that that company has a physical address, that you can research them, find them, know that they're legitimate before proceeding with a product or service.
So really what you're saying, Pam, is before you sign a contract or before you give them any money, a cooling period.
Yes.
Do some research on it. Make sure it's a legit company. If they are, call them back the next day or in a couple days.
Sure,
They're still
yeah.
going to be there.
Yes.
And this offer's still going to be available.
Yes, yeah, and if they're using those high pressure tactics like, well, this offer is only good today if you sign this today, that's a huge red flag that you probably should take your time and really dissect that contract or that company to make sure they're legitimate. So that ounce of prevention, doing a little bit research on the company first before you commit. No matter how good the deal seems, you know, they're there to try to get your attention, offer you a deal that's maybe too good to be true. And so you'll want to look past maybe the cheap cost or the deal that they're giving you and make sure you're working with a legit company. Because if they do end up tar and chipping your driveway or paving your driveway and you pay them with cash, we've had instances where companies have painted a driveway with black paint and it looks great for a day, but then it's not actually, they don't actually do the actual work on your driveway and you basically do get ripped off. And then you don't have any contact information or know where these people are again because they said they were just in the area doing some extra work. So then it's hard to find them. So an ounce of prevention is a pound of cure. So do your research, know who you're working with, and deals should be good for more than one day.
Magazine sales, are they all rip-offs? The door-to-door magazine.
Yes.
How would I know? How, again, would I know if it's legit or a scam?
That's a great question that we get. How do I know who
Right.
to trust? And doing your research and educating yourself about who the company is and who the individual is selling them can help you prevent some of those scams. So we'd be glad to look up a company for you at the Better Business Bureau. What company is selling these advertisements, or is it a fundraiser? Is it an organization that's offering these magazines? You should look up to see what kind of reputation that company or that organization has. With magazine sales, we see that homeowners do pay for a magazine or two and either never receive the magazine or get into some type of subscription trap where they just keep
and they
paying.
can't get out of it or something like that?
Yeah, they get stuck in a subscription. So we see magazine sales at the door, meat sales as well.
You mentioned that. I don't think I've heard. I mean, someone goes door to door and
selling meat.
Selling meat.
Yes, yeah, they offer you a great deal. Sometimes they set up trucks in the area too, and in some cases the companies are legitimate, but the meat is not actually, you get what you pay for sometimes with the meat sales. When you're offered a really great deal on meat, you do oftentimes get what you pay for. So look up the company. We do see companies come in from out of town and out of state selling meat door to door.
Oh, wow.
So you'll want to check out where the company's from and what kind of reputation they have before you buy anything. Usually they give you a whole set of meat products and offer you for a great deal. So that's that too good to be true deals. When you're dealing with meat, you'll probably do your research and look into it a little bit more.
Too. Now, home security systems can be kind of tricky. You have to be careful there too, right?
Sure, yeah, we do see some door-to-door security scams or alarm salesmen. And sometimes they see the sign you already have in your yard, and that gives them kind of a tip-off, like you have this security system, so they'll go to your house and say you're due for an upgrade. They'll represent that company, supposedly, that they see in your yard.
Oh my gosh.
And they'll say you're due for an upgrade. And in some cases, if you let them in your house, they could change over some of the hardware to the company they actually represent, which is a third-party company, and get you to sign off on the work that they did. And here, they signed you over to a new company. So we have seen that one before, not really recently, but because the summer season is ramping up now, we may hear some of those security sales. So anytime you're dealing with a security company, you want to call to check with your security company, or if you do need service, you call directly to your security or alarm system company and set an appointment or verify with them before letting anyone into your home that you weren't expecting.
Okay. All
So
right.
that can
so
that can be
beware of
tricky.
that, right?
Yeah,
beware
they can.
of surprise visits from your security
Yes,
company.
if you're
All
not
right.
expecting them, always call a known customer service line for your security system or alarm company and check to make sure that they're doing repairs or upgrades or actually who they are. And in that case too, you'll want to get name, contact information, know exactly what company they represent. We do see companies misrepresent themselves sometimes at the door, so always verify who they are before you let them in or agree to anything.
Electronic representatives.
This is electricity and utility representatives.
The utility ones, yeah.
Yeah, they will peruse the neighborhood around this time of year too. As Pennsylvanians, we have the ability to switch our electricity and natural gas supplier. So we have the ability to change.
And I know that because when I come home from work every day, there's 3 messages that are reminding me about that.
Okay, yes, there are plenty of representatives in this area
Right.
that will try to get you interested in their services. And we do have the ability to change providers, suppliers, if we want to try to save money. But it does take a lot of research to switch over to a new electricity or natural gas supplier. And so we want to know exactly who we're working with. Again, this is kind of the theme we're going
Right.
with today. Always research, always know exactly who we're working with. People will come to our door, they'll call us, they'll email us, asking us if we want to change electricity suppliers. Sometimes they misrepresent themselves as well. We do see Penelec and National Fuel will issue alerts every once in a while saying, we're not going to come to your house to try to get you to change over your electricity supplier or call you
Right.
to say there's a problem with your bill or try to get you to switch accounts. So these people that contact us are often third-party representatives from other companies trying to get us interested in their product. And some of them are legitimate. These companies are legit. You can research them on BBB as well. We have plenty of suppliers that you can research to see like complaint history, contact information, where the company is actually located.
Okay.
And a lot of them are out of state. The headquarters is located in Texas or Philadelphia or somewhere else. But we have authorized representatives selling their services in this area. So before we sign on the dotted line, we want to make sure we know the company's reputation, who we're working with. The salespeople will offer us money savings on our electricity and natural gas bills each month. In some cases, we can save money
Right.
if we sign with the right company and the right contract.
But you have to research again.
Sure, and just some of the questions that you should ask for a supplier that comes
Okay.
to your house or over the phone. What is the rate? Is it a fixed rate or is it a variable rate? How long will this contract be? Sometimes they last 6 months, sometimes they last 3 years. Is there a cost to cancel my current supplier? If I go with your company, will my current company charge me to switch over to a new company? And if I'm unhappy with that new company, do I have to pay to get out of the contract? Sometimes it's very difficult to get out of the contract after you've signed it. So that's why
okay.
it's important to know who you're working with and the terms and conditions of the contract before signing.
Okay.
So it's very in-depth, and there is a chance you can save money, but you have to do the proper research. And it does take time and a lot of effort to do that. So if someone comes to your home or calls you and says, I can save you money on your utility bills, just go with this contract. You'll want to pump the brakes and just review the company and the contract.
Okay.
So that's pretty intense, but you can save money if you do it right.
And they are. There's a lot of the utility, people going out trying to get you to switch your utilities.
Sure,
So
yeah.
that's good to know. Because maybe someone is in the market and it could be a good fit for you.
Absolutely.
But make sure you're going with the right company.
Yes, yeah, and some people do come to the door too and ask to see your bill. And in some cases, we've seen instances of account identity theft where they
Okay.
take the information from your bill and can switch you over without
Because they've got
really
the account
knowing.
number and
Yes.
the name and so forth. Okay.
Yes, so don't show your private information, your personal information, utility bills, any type of personal information like that. You should not share with someone you do not know who they are or where they're from. So that can lead to some sort of identity fraud. So keep your personal information private and shred those documents as well before tossing or recycling. Make sure they're shredded first, so no one can steal your personal information from the your garbage, or dumpster divers are out there too.
I'm
so
sure they are.
We're going through all these different angles of where con artists can be, even the dumpsters.
Home improvement scams, like you were saying, are really big in the summer. But I also know that there's a home improvement contractor law in Pennsylvania. What are the highlights of this?
Sure, there are a lot of rules that homeowners and property owners should know before hiring someone to help update or fix some property or their home. And this information is all publicly available online, and Better Business Bureau is glad to go over some of the tips with you as well, because it is so intense. The Home Improvement Consumer Protection Act requires that contractors who make over $5,000 of home improvement work of money each year are required to be registered with the state of Pennsylvania. So before you hire anyone, you do want to make sure that the contractor is properly registered in the state. It's easy to do. You can search online, ask them for their registration number, and you can search by name as well on the public database, on the state's database. But you should make sure that they're properly registered with the state. And if they're properly registered, they also maintain basic insurance costs as well, or liability insurance.
Okay.
So that's covered as well. But you can also request from a home improvement company to see their insurance certificate, so you know that they're covered if they're going to be working on your property.
Oh, I can.
Yes, you can request the certificates of liability insurance and workman's comp from their insurance company to know they're properly registered.
Okay.
So every once in a while we get a story about a contractor, there was a problem on their property and the contractor actually wasn't insured. And so then there's more difficulties after that. So you do want to make sure that companies are registered and insured. A couple other tips on the home improvement front. There's what's called the rule of thirds. And any contract over $5,000, you should only pay 1/3 of that contract up front as a down payment. The contractor can only accept 1/3 of the total cost, or 1/3 of the cost plus any special order materials that are needed to complete the job. 1/3 up front, 1/3 pay the next third halfway through the project, and then 1/3, the final 1/3 when the project is completed.
Okay.
So that helps prevent that, paying the contractor up front and then never seeing the contractor again, or there's a long delay where you don't see the contractor, and so they have all your money up front. That's not a real smart way to pay for a project, but you do want to do the rule of thirds as well. So registration, insurance, rule of thirds. I think this law is like 60-some pages long, so there's a lot going on, but those are some of the highlights on what to look for, and of course research your contractor too.
Exactly.
Better Business Bureau does a 3-year complaint history on local businesses, so you can look up a local business and see if there's any complaints that have been filed. And if those complaints have been filed, you can read about them and see what kind of previous complaints that customers have had and how the business responded to those complaints, if they did respond to those complaints, which they're not required to do, but we think it makes for a good business practice to have an open line of communication between business and customers. So that can help you determine the legitimacy and reputation of a local home contractor or any type of home improvement service. And about 50% of the inquiries we get at the Better Business Bureau involve home improvement services.
Do they really?
So plumbing, air conditioning, contractor, landscape services, paving, concrete, you name it. About 50% of the inquiries we do see are home improvement related. So it is a big purchase for any homeowner, and you really want to make sure you're doing your due diligence and hiring someone legitimate and someone you can trust.
Now, you also, we've talked about these summer scams and stuff, but you provide so many other services too, don't you?
Sure, yeah. I mean, we want to help people make these wise buying decisions, and we're willing to do that. Our business information is our most popular free service that we offer, and you can just search on our website, bbb.org, or give us a call, and we can help connect you with local businesses who meet our standards, meet Better Business Bureau standards, or we can give you a review of a company you're looking to work with. So we can make sure that they're properly registered if you're looking for home improvement services, and we can help give you more information about a business, and just help you identify and work with the legitimate. And we have so many great reputable businesses here,
right?
And we want to help connect people with those businesses.
With them. Now, if someone is taken advantage, would they call you to file a complaint? How does that work?
They can call us, and we can help them determine what their best.
If there's a dispute.
Yes, yeah,
right.
You can file a complaint with the Better Business Bureau as well. So if you do have a problem after you've paid for a product or service, you can file a complaint. It's free to do. And we will then forward the complaint to the business and let them know they have a complaint and that they have 2 weeks to respond to that complaint.
Okay.
And so we'll give them 2 weeks to respond. We do hope they respond, because that's, like I said, that's a good business practice, is to open lines of communication between a business and a consumer to try to resolve any issues. And if they don't respond, that information will be reflected on the BBB rating that company receives. And ratings range from A+ to F, and that's public information as well. And so if a business doesn't respond to that complaint, that may affect or drop their rating because they're not responding to an unhappy customer. So the complaint information is also available for free online or over the phone, so you can see what kind of complaints people have had against the business and choose then accordingly if you'd like to proceed with.
Now, do you
business.
say for instance, I have been taken advantage of. I've given somebody money, they've taken off. I can give you a call, I can make a complaint. Do you give legal advice and tell me what my next step should be? Not legal advice, sort of give me some guidance if I have to take it to court?
Yes, we can do some advice like that. We are not a regulatory agency, though, and so we can't, fine a company because they didn't respond to you, or they supposedly took your money and ran. But we can help educate you about what other opportunities or options you have as a consumer in Pennsylvania. So we can give you some other advice on where to turn next if our complaint process hasn't resolved your issue or worked for you. And it does happen sometimes, but yeah, we can advise you of a couple other options that you have.
Now, Pam, I know I've seen you, in the media talking about different scams. Is that one of your ways that you have, let get the word out on scams that are going around in the community? Sure,
yes. If we see that there is a track record of consumers contacting us or reporting a certain scam or complaining about a certain business, we help to educate the community.
Yes.
So we'll issue a scam alert or contact the local media and say, this company or this specific scam is causing a lot of problems here in Erie. And so we want to help get out the word about what's going on so fewer people will fall victim to that scam or just learn how to make a better buying decision from a company and sometimes we see the websites too, fake websites online that supposedly have Erie addresses. We see a lot of fake websites with Erie addresses. And so we want to get out the word that this isn't a legitimate business to really the whole nation. Across North America, people might be buying from that website, which looks like it's based in Erie. We want to help educate the public about how not to lose the money buying from that website.
You have given us so much information and a lot of food for thought. If you're not sure about a company, please give them a call. What number could they call, Pam?
Sure, 877-267-5222 is the best way to get a hold of the Better Business Bureau, which covers all of Western PA, and we have an office here in Erie.
So, which is nice. It's wonderful having you right here in Erie because they can even stop in.
Sure.
So, but thank you so much. I mean, really, be careful, viewers, this summer. I don't know, door to door.
Just do your research and know who you're working with.
What we want to point out, it's not everybody going door to door in every home improvement.
Yes.
You're going to have just a few in there, and those are the ones we're trying to weed out, right?
Yes, and they ruin it for everybody else, so just a couple of bad apples will spread like wildfire around Erie rather than the good companies doing a lot of great work here in Erie, and a lot of reputable companies.
And that's why you want viewers to know who those companies are.
Yes,
So,
yes.
Pam, thank you so much for joining us on the program today. Tons of information. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Viewers, if you do have any questions, or if you want to talk a little bit more about anything we've talked about, please give them a call. Check out their website. They've got a Facebook page too with a lot of information. So thank you for tuning into the Millcreek Government Channel. Until next time, have a wonderful day.